Hi, I'm Vicky. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making this super sweet little bracelet. I've named this bracelet Sweetheart, and I'm sure you can understand why. It is very, very delicate and very, very sweet. This is made out of a square stitch bezel before joining together with this little bicone chain in like a diamond shape, which suits really nicely around the bicones. I have used 4 little bezels on this one, but the bezels are beaded separately from the chain, so you can make as many or as little as you want. You may not even want to use the bezels, you may just want to come for the chain here. But yes, this is going to be what we're making today. And I think we should take a look at what materials we're going to need. So on my mat today, I have a size 11 seed bead, a size 15 seed bead, a 4mm bicone, an 8mm chaton. I'm using a size 12 needle and 6-pound Fireline. This bracelet doesn't take a lot of materials really. The full description will be in the drop down box, as well as links to where you can buy some of these gorgeous chatons and the rest of the beads. And I think now we should get started. Okay, so we're going to start by making our little bezel, our little square stitch bezel. And to do this, we're going to pick up 22 size 11 seed beads. Okay, so I've picked up 22 size 11 seed beads. I'm now just going to do a double overhand knot, just like so. Just to join my beads into a ring. So we have now this pretty little ring. I'm going to go through a couple of my beads to take my working thread away from the knot. And as you can see, that's now our base ring. So now we're going to bead up the top of the bezel, or the bottom, depending on which way you're going to put your chaton in. I probably usually bezel the bottom first in thinking about it. So okay, so to do this, we're going to pick up one size 15 seed. I'm coming out of this size 11, and I'm just going to go back into this size 11, so that the 15 now sits on top of the size 11 seed bead. I'm going to go into the next size 11 along on my base row. So now we have that. I'm now going to repeat that, picking up one size 15. I'm going to go back into the bead I'm coming out of, pull it tight, and into the next one along on the base row. Now we have 2. They're not joined in any way apart from to the size 11s underneath. And now we're going to carry on adding size 15 seed beads all the way around on our base row. So I'm just about to put my last size 15 seed bead onto my last size 11. Just going into there, just like that. So now we have size 15 seed beads all the way around on top of our size 11 seed beads. I'm now going to take my needle into the size 15 that is above the size 11 that I'm coming out of. And now I want to join all of these size 15s together. So I'm literally just taking my needle through all the size 15s, joining them together. I'm not adding any beads. I'm just going through each one. And then joining my last one to my first one, my last size 15 to my first one. And then I'm just going to pull that tight, so you can see that that ring is now sitting tightly above the size 11s. It's all popped up to give us that little cup shape that we're going to need for our chaton. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just go through them all again, just to tighten that round. So through all them size 15s one more time, giving it nice little nice little tug as you go, just to really like pull that tension tight. Okay, so when you're back round to the beginning, or to whatever you think is your beginning, we're just going to come out of this 15 here, and we're just going to go back into the 11 above it. So making sure that you're going up the side of the two beads so that no thread is visible across them. And now we're coming out to that size 11 again. So the chaton will sit in here, but now we need to make the top so that we can enclose that little beauty in. Okay, so to do that, we're going to simply repeat what we've just done on the other side by picking up 115. We're coming out of this size 11, which is still the base row. We're going to go back into the size 11 so that the 15 sits on the top. You can see I've changed direction as well. That's just because of the way the threads come up the side of the bead, really. You may find that this will happen to you, but you may turn your piece over as you're working just to get it to go the way you like. So I've come out to size 11, I've added my 15, I'm now going to go into the next size 11 along. And now I'm going to repeat that, picking up my one size 15, going back into the size 11 I'm coming out of, and into the next one along. Repeat all the way around. Okay, so I'm just about to add in my last size 15 onto my last 11 on my base row. So going into there, let me come back this way because I was going this way before. Into this one. And now we're just going to go up into the 15 as we did earlier, so we can join them all together. Now you can see that our chaton is going to fit in and they're all going to close up lovely around it. But before we pop it in, we're just going to go through them the first time, all the 15s. Okay, and I've just joined my last ones together. I'm now going to pop in the chaton and pull tight. Really give that a little tug so that it's all sitting lovely. But now we're going to go through them all again just to give it that extra bit of tension and to make sure the bezel does not come loose. Okay, pull that tight and now pop back down into a size 11. So just coming down the side of that one and into this size 11 here. You may find they're getting a bit tight now. Size down a needle if you feel like you can't get your needle through. I find the size 12 does work really well for just getting through very small spaces, and they are my go-to needles. So now we're coming out of this size 11. I'm going to pop that to one side and I'm going to make, so well, on this bracelet I have four chatons which sit really nice around my wrist, but I've decided on the next one I'm going to go for 5. You might want to make 3. It's completely up to you with this, but you may only want to make 1. But I'm going to make some more now and then we will join them together. Okay, so here's another one that I've popped together. Oh, I'm just going to whip off that tail thread. Because I've already put a knot in it earlier on, I feel I can just whip that off. I have no problems with that when I do that. So okay, we're going to join these together. So coming out of this chaton, my working thread is coming out of a size 11. I'm going to pick up a size 11 and go back into the size 11 I'm coming out of, so that size 11 now sits next to the one we're coming out of. And now I'm going to go into the new size 11. So we're just square stitching again that size 11 onto the one before it. I'm now going to pick up one bicone and one size 11, drop them down my thread, and I'm going to go back into the bicone and back into the size 11 I'm coming out of from the other side, so that the Bicones thread sits on either side of the size 11. Okay, so now it should look like that. We're now going to pick up 4 size 11s, bring them around the side of the bicone and go through the size 11 above the bicone. So they sit around the side and they fit really lovely in, like so. I'm now going to pick up another 4 size 11s and go back into the size 11 we started from when we put the bicone on. So there we go. So now we have this lovely little, like, I guess little round around it, but we need to put some little points on to make it more diamond shape now. So go through the first 2 size 11s of the first 4 you added, pick up 1 size 11 and go through the next 5 beads. So the next 2 of the 4, the single one that's on top of the bicone and the 2 on this side. So like so. And then you're coming out of the first 2 on this side of your 4, pick up another size 11 and go through the next 2 and into the size 11 we started from when we added our bicone, like so. So now you've got this lovely little diamond shape, but I want to just add a little bit more structure here to keep this from just bending all over the place. So I'm going to pick up 115. I'm going to go back into the 11 on the bezel that we used to add the first square stitch with this size 11, and then I'm going to pick up 1 more 15 and go back into the 11 we've just been coming out of, just to add in them extra 2 beads so that it gives it a little bit more structure. And as you see, it can't just flop, it can still move, but it can't flop around everywhere. Okay, pull that tight. I'm now going to go through the 2 of the first 4, the 2 11s of the first 4, the new one we added between them, the next 2, and then the 11 on top of the bicone. And that's our first little diamond component. But now we want to join this one to this one, and to do that it's very simple. If you think of this 11 as that 11 at the bottom that we joined to our bezel on that square stitch that we did there, we're now going to simply just do the same. Coming out of that 11 on your little bicone component, we're simply just going to go into an 11 on the next bezel. It's going to be quite tight, so just be very gentle as you pull that through, like so. And then we're going to go back into the 11 on the bicone that we started from. So back into that 11 that sits above that bicone and pull tight. So now that's joined together. Again, we're going to add these 2 stabilizing 15s on either side of these 11s. So picking up 115, we're going to go into that 15, sorry, into that 11, I should have said, not into that 15, into the 11 on the bezel, and then picking up another 15 back into the 11 above the bicone. Like so. So there we go. Our 2 bezels are now joined.
From tipsbulletin.com.
And they look absolutely really, really sweet. Okay, right, so now I'm going to go up through that 15, back into the 11 on the bezel, and I'm going to go through my 11s until I'm coming out of the 11 that's facing the one we've just added this little component to. So you should have 10 size 11s between the two 11s you're going to be using. They may be quite tight. Just be very gentle, take it easy, there's no rush. Beading is very much more of a marathon than a sprint, as I always like to say. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. Oh, one more makes 11. There we go. Okay, so coming out of this 11, we're now going to add this bit of chain. Obviously, to join the rest of the chatons, you will just do what we've done there with that bicone join, and I've put 1 between them, but you could put 2, you could put 3, you can put as many as you want between them. Now, to do more of a little bit of a chain, it's very much the same way we've done this one. So picking up the size 11, coming out of the size 11 on the bezel, we're just going to go back into it with our new size 11 to create that square stitch, and into the size 11. We're going to add the bicone and the size 11, come back down the bicone and into the size 11 you were coming out of, like so. Then pick up your 4 size 11s and go into the size 11 on the top of the bicone, and then add the other 4 on the other side. And weave through the first 2 of the first 4. Go on. Pick up one size 11 and go through the next 5 beads. Pick up one size 11 and go through the next 3 beads. We're now going to add these size 15s on either side of this little join just to stabilize it, same as before. And then we're going to weave around to come out of the bead, the size 11 bead that sits above the bicone. So we're going through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of our size 11s to get there. 2, 3, 4, 5, and into number 6. Okay, so before, when we joined the chaton bezel to the bicone component, we just used this bead and 1 on the bezel, but because we're joining between, or we're adding more of these links, we're actually going to pick up 1 size 11 and go back into the one we're coming out of from the other side, like so. So we've got that square stitch again, and then go into that one, into the new one you've just added, and then again we're just going to add the bicone and the size 11, the 2 sets of 4, and then the stabilizing, or the point beads, and then the stabilizing beads. So it's just a case of adding that little square stitch because we're not moving into the bezel, and that will get you your join between your little bicone components. So adding in my 4s, 4 11s, go through them, 4 11s, through the 2, add the 1, I haven't picked up enough there. Let's just whip them off very quickly. We only had 3 on that side. Okay, better at the 4th. Through the 2, at the point, through the 5, add the point bead, through the 3, add our stabilizing 15s, and then go up to the size 11 above the bicone. Okay, so again we're going to carry on making the chain for however long you want it. I've already done one part of it and I've added 3 on this side because I'm adding 5 chatons, as you can see. So I've added 3 on this side, so I've got 1 more to do, and then I'm going to do this little loop, and then I'm going to just join them 2 together. Okay, so I'm coming out on the size 11 that's above my bicone. I'm going to add on my square stitch using one size 11. But now we're going to make this little loop on this side. So we're going to pick up 8 size 11s. And we're just going to go back into the little size 11 we're coming out of from the opposite side. And then we're going to go forward into the first size 11 just added. So just like that. We're now going to add a size 15 between this bead and the one next to it. So just going straight forward into the next 11 along with the size 15. And then we're going to do that again, picking up a 15, go straight forward into this next size 15 in size 11 along. And you'll see these little 15s are sitting up between the size 11s. We're going to do that another 5 times to add 15s between all the size 11s on our loop. And the reason that I do this is because if I just left the size 11s loose, there would be thread showing between them. Now you can pull it really tight and that would probably work just as well, but I like the idea of not having to take any chances with when I add a jump ring on, that it will escape through the bits of thread. So there we go. I'm just gonna add in my last one and then end up back into the size 11 I started from, which was the square stitch we put between the bicone and the loop. I'm adding on my stabilizing 15s now between our 2 beads, 2 11s. So just picking up one, go into the 11 on the bicone, that's above the bicone, and then picking up another, go back into the square stitched 11, the first one we started from when we added our loop. There we go. And they're just going to sit there to stabilize your loop. And now you can just go through your loop all again just to reinforce. Okay, so what we can assume is that as you've been making your bracelet, you've been joining your chatons together before you put on your little chain loop. So you would have had this part first and then did the chain. Obviously you can do it whichever way around that you want to. So in a second, once the video is finished, I'm going to go to and add this little last, I'm going to add some thread in and add my last little bicone join, which is just the same as all the others, before adding on, as in this one, As you can see, they're all joined nicely. Adding on some jump rings and a clasp just to the little loops on the end. And then that is our little delicate sweetheart bracelet finished. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, I would really appreciate if you subscribe to my channel. I have lots of new content already filmed and coming to you in the next couple of weeks, so lots to look forward to. Thank you for watching, and that's it. Take care. Bye bye now.